You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javanokelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the African Father in America podcast. I am in Seattle, Washington, and I'm excited to be here with you for another incredible conversation. We do this Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I am here with my brother Jared, who is going to be contributing to our conversations this week, especially because this week we are going to be promoting a trip that we are doing to Kenya in February. So welcome. I want to invite you, Jared, to just say hi to everyone before we continue with our conversation today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope all is well. I'm really excited to be part of this room this week. And I definitely want to just implore everybody to click that little button that has that box with the arrow pointed up and share this room with the hallway. Let people know that this podcast is happening. We're going to be talking a little bit about One Vibe America in a bit. One Vibe Africa in a bit. And the 10-day trip to Kenya, that's going to be really dope. I'm going to be a part of it, and hopefully all of you will be as well. But yeah, share the room on Clubhouse. I'm going to lead by example. Click the box with the arrow up top. Click the yellow hand. I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple of words, and then click share. Now you see that box turn into number 1. We got 12 people in here. If all of you could do that, that would be awesome. And you can also share on Facebook and Twitter. If there's anybody in this space that you think would benefit from this conversation, feel free to ping them in. But, without further ado, I'm going to pass it back to Simon. And, and then I'll jump in and talk a little bit about the trip that me and Simon will be a part of. So back to you, Simon.
Excellent. Thank you again for your continued support. Jared and I have collaborated a lot here on Clubhouse. I remember when we collaborated for Africa Day, which I have been producing for about 5 years now. I did it twice in person at the Gates Foundation here in Seattle, Washington, and also on Clubhouse twice, in 2020. And actually 2021 and 2022. So as usual, every Monday to Friday we gather here in the African Father in America Club, and we host these amazing conversations. These conversations are known as the Daily African Proverbs, because every single day we come with a new African proverb, and today our proverb is from Gambia, and it says that if a donkey kicks you and you kick back, you are both donkeys. So I want to share 3 nuggets of wisdom from this proverb from Gambia, so that you can also think about what this might mean to you. And I want you to come on stage so that we can have a conversation around this African proverb. So the first nugget says that it is important to remain level-headed when faced with difficult and frustrating situations. The second nugget of wisdom says that we all make mistakes, but we must learn from them. And then the third nugget of wisdom says that positivity often breeds positivity. Negativity often breeds more negativity. So I want you to think about what this proverb might mean to you. For me and the community that I have been building here, finding a balance using African wisdom and regulating our mental health, and just ensuring that we use African proverbs to strengthen our resilience is really important. So that's why we are here. This conversation is being recorded for the African Father in America podcast, which is available across all podcasting platforms. For example, on Apple Podcast, we are a 5-star rated podcast with almost 200,000 downloads. So you're in the right place at the right time with the right people. But I want to come to you quickly, Jared. When you hear this proverb, if a donkey kicks you and you kick back, you're both donkeys, what is it that comes to your mind? I just want to hear what you have to say about it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's the first time I've heard this one. But it reminds me of I don't know if it's an American proverb or where the proverb come from. I'm sure it comes from, back in history. But when you argue with fools, people from a distance can't tell who is who. And that kind of reminds me of this one, where, if you engage in um, if you engage in things that are smaller than you, you look small and you can become small, and that's why you have to always try to be the bigger person, because I love these proverbs, so I'm gonna be eating these up, so this is gonna be fun. But another one that I was always told is like, never wrestle with pigs, because you're gonna get muddy and the pig is gonna enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like understanding the after effects of reacting to people that don't deserve your reaction. And if you give them your reaction, you're giving them power. And I feel like the best power you can give somebody that's trying to pull you down, is to ignore it, is to avoid it, or is to, wish them well from a distance, so that you don't get that stain of that mud. You don't get the stain of looking like a fool or becoming a donkey. And so, especially on Clubhouse, I have to say, just to bring it back to Clubhouse, this app is super amazing because you can make incredible connections using your voice, your knowledge, your empathy, and like building genuine connections. This app is amazing for it. But this app can also be, dangerous in the sense of you're exchanging energy with some people that have experienced deep trauma. They are, and you've heard the thing, hurt people hurt people. So when you're on these stages, you have to be just cognizant of, one, being empathetic to people's trauma, two, understanding that some people don't have the best intentions for you, especially if they feel like you're doing better than them, especially if they feel like your intelligence or your success is like an insult to them, which it shouldn't be. But that's what people project sometimes, is that, um, oh, he thinks he's better than me, or oh, he's using big words, let me tear him down, let me try to bring him down, or he has a different opinion than me, I want to bring him down, right? So you just have to be aware of those situations. And like for me, the best solution is to stay on mute, or leave quietly, or observe the stages that are safe, and then go on those stages, and the stages that aren't, go ahead and watch from the crowd. Because, like you said, just to wrap it back up, if a donkey kicks you and you kick back, you're both donkeys. And me personally, I'm not trying to be a donkey out in these Clubhouse streets. So those are my thoughts on the proverb. I really enjoy it, and I look forward to hearing what brother Aisha, Raphael, Alonra, Pamela, Latanya, and Stella got to say on this one. So I'll pass it back to you, Simon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my brother Jared. I love that. We are going to hear from everyone on the stage. We love, making this like a village conversation, sitting around the fire and having a conversation about these proverbs, and really, really, gaining some wisdom from it, so that as you face your day, you just feel a little more empowered. You feel you really like you're not alone. We hope that the voices of our ancestors come through as we experience our day, because of these proverbs that truly were left behind by most of our ancestors. So today we are taking a journey to Gambia, where today's proverb comes from. And if you're just joining us, the proverb says that if a donkey kicks you and you kick back, you are both donkeys. I just saw that Stella, who is part of my team, joined us, and Jared, also who is part of my team, is here. I see that Latanja, who has been a consistent supporter, is also here. But we quickly want to come to you, brother, so that we just hear briefly what your own interpretation of this proverb is, and then we'll continue on with the conversation. We want to hear from all of you on the stage. Just make sure you are sharing the link to the room across all social media platforms. Thank you so much, brother. Go ahead.
Peace and love, family. It's Brother. I'm coming from the North Carolina territory, and always enjoying a beautiful conversation and the wisdom of the ancestors. Jared touched a lot of beautiful points with what he made But what I add to the conversation, I once heard a wise man say, "It's not about what they call you, but it's about what you answer to." And as I, grew into the understanding of what they really meant is, um, like a lot of times people project certain things at you. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, whatever they dealing with on the inside, and they'll try to drag you down with their energy. But it's up to you to, see people coming at you with negative energy and not return that energy. And don't let someone drag you down to their level of operating beneath how you normally operate. Regardless of how somebody treats you, but it's still a level of dignity and respect, so you don't operate like them. And I park my plane right there, brother Earth. Peace and love, family.
Peace and love to you, Brother Earth. I love your contribution and thank you again for your consistent support for the space. I want to just quickly speak about the trip we are planning in February next year. I've been organizing trips to Kenya for a number of years now with One Vibe Experience. And, Stella is part of my team. Stella is currently in Kenya, and Lavender, who is leading the One Vibe Experience team, is also in Kenya. She'll be joining us here in a moment. But I want you, Jared, to just take a moment and share with everyone who is joining us why this is an important experience for those who are listening and watching to be a part of.
Yeah, so I've been to Africa. I've been to 7 countries in Africa, and every time I feel like I grow perspective. I learn more about my history. I learn more about my culture, even if I, wasn't necessarily descendant from those countries, because, fortunately, I'm a descendant of, slavery, so I don't exactly know my exact lineage. But when it comes to Kenya, I've been able to experience Mombasa, as well as Nairobi. But when it comes to the trip that Simon's curating, it's going to be a much more in-depth, culturally curated experience. And that's what I'm excited about is, I was able to go to Kenya as a tourist and kind of just, wander around based off of Google searches, etc. But the way that this trip is going to be curated, it's going to be 10 days, it's going to be a group size of 10 to 20 people. We're really going to be able to, experience all of Kenya from Nairobi to Kimusu, the Masai Mara National Reserve, search of lions, elephants, buffaloes, education, music, culture. So I'm really excited to see, what Simon has put together. I'm also excited to really build fellowship with the 10 to 20 people that decide to join. And one thing that I really emphasize to people is, you never know, tomorrow is not promised. And one thing that I think people will ultimately regret is if they have not journeyed the country of Africa, journeyed the world, to open up their perspectives, to try different foods, to see different music, to experience different religions and expand your mind. Because, the growth that I get every time that I travel is, exponential. And I feel like this 10-day experience is going to be beyond every single trip I've done to Africa. So I could talk longer, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I know we don't have much time and there's a lot of people on stage. But I definitely recommend everybody clicks the link at the top, look into the itinerary and join us in Africa and Kenya. I would love to see y'all there. And, I'll be sharing it with my friends and family because I want them to, take away this experience as well. And if you can't go for whatever reason, share it with your friends and family and just let them know, hey, there's this trip where you're going to have a safe, secure environment, where you're going to be guided. You'll have a dope itinerary, and you'll really get to go deep into the Kenya experience versus on the surface level, like I did, which was amazing. So I can't wait to go more deep. So that's my thoughts. I'll pass it back to you, Simon.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed, I'm always excited to show people around the motherland, especially Kenya, which I am most familiar with because that's where I was born and raised. But I also run One Vibe Africa, One Vibe Experience, One Vibe Media, and most of my team, like 98% of our team, is in Kenya. So Stella is going to speak in a moment and just share, why she's excited to host many of you from the diaspora back in the continent. I also have a number of other business people here in the diaspora, in Seattle, in Boston, that have already confirmed that they're traveling with me. So I'll share who they are just later on to let you know some of the people who are joining us for the trip. For now, we want to continue on with our conversation around this Gambian proverb. And I want to quickly come to you, Stella. Just speak briefly about where you are and what today's proverb from Gambia means to you, and then we'll go quickly to Aisha after that, and then Raphael, and then Landry. So thank you all for being here with us. Stella, please take it away. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here today to talk about this proverb that talks about donkeys and us. So, I think I would take us back to picking your battles wisely, because that's what this proverb means to me. I think some fights are not worth it, and like in this case, some fights, if you got yourself involved in, then you'll end up losing so much that you would have not lost in the first place if you found a better way of dealing with the situation at hand. Yeah, so that's what it means to me, and done speaking. Thank you.
Excellent.
Hey
Thank you so
Simon,
much.
I just wanted to jump in real quick. I texted you, but just in case you didn't see the text, if you don't mind, I would like to do it popcorn style in terms of the shares, just in case there's somebody that really feels like they want to share, but they don't have the time this morning to wait for PTR. And if you are in PTR order and you really are that person that wants to share, I want you to open mic and grab it. And if multiple people come off the mic, then we'll just do like a mini queue. But I just find this helpful because sometimes in PTR order, I've felt like anxiety being like the fifth or sixth person waiting. So if you don't mind me kind of like pulling that audible, I like to try out that format for this room.
That sounds good. No problem. Let's do it.
Awesome. So popcorn style, who wants to jump in and we'll just kind of like popcorn it around? Don't be shy.
I thought Ayana was gonna go, so I was gonna wait for Ayana to go. But
Oh,
if you wanna
I'm
go,
sorry. I was talking on mute. My bad. I had flashed too quick. And thank you for making space. I really appreciate that, guys. There's a lot that's sitting with me. I agree 100% with everything that everyone has said. No but, right? No rebuttal for that. When you argue with a fool, it's hard to tell who a fool really is. And I'll be honest with you, that was a lesson that got solidified on this app. Like I was in spaces where I'm like, I am not arguing with somebody that Harriet would have left behind. I'm just not gonna do it. And so there was a lot of revelation in that. Like first had to, have metacognitive processes of, you know, what is it that I feel like I have to prove, instead of recognizing the gap of misunderstanding and seeing that the person lacked no will to understand and that they were responding from intimidation. And that is not my problem. Matter of fact, recognizing that my value is so high, I do not have to be in your conversation. Like it is a privilege for me to talk to you. And so moving with that esteem over the last 2 months has done wonders for me. I've been more focused back in my business. I thought, I thought I was at a certain level and was really comfortable with that until I started getting in bigger spaces where what I'm bringing home a month, somebody's bringing in a week. And it showed me how I needed to shift my focus and get, deeper in that bag. Right. Something that's coming to mind is that some people will try you, and yes, we have to just ignore the gnat at the barbecue sometimes, right? Just swat it, move around. But I will say this, and I'm not trying to take the conversation in a different direction, but we do have enemies. And God will bless you in front of your enemies. And I will yield, right? Because I recognize the time and the place, and some of us fight to be right at the wrong time. But please understand that will only last us both so long. And that the same way God blessed Joshua and made the sun stand still to defeat his enemies and blessed David, he blesses me too. And I eat well in front of my enemies at the table. And I will not stop being myself, and minimize or dim my light just because it's too bright for my enemies. That's the point. I want you to go away. Not even so much. Actually, I want my enemy to do better. Usually my enemies have made themselves my enemies, not because I've announced them as that, just in their actions. And again, that is out of my control. But I can control how I respond. And so what I am doing is finding a balance and recognizing this is not the time. This is not the place, and this person is not worth it. Or saying, yeah, let's make an example out of this person for the next person in the audience or the next person in the room that may think that this type of energy is okay. So I have to show people where the boundary box is. So that's where I am in life, and just balancing that thought. But I love this conversation. I think you guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I'm really grateful for the space. Jared, thank you so much for being here, because I definitely came in following you. So appreciate you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ayana. Jared, go ahead.
I was going to say
Um,
that was a great share, Ayana, and I appreciate you for being here. Lanra, jump in.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm just going to quickly share a short story, and I suspect some of you might have heard this before, but I'll share it because it's very apt to the proverb that was shared. And it's the whole idea of when arguing is futile, and the story of the donkey and the tiger and the lion. So the donkey says to the tiger, the grass is blue, and he's shouting, the grass is blue, and the tiger says, no, the grass is green. No, the grass is green, and they both argue and argue. So they take the matter to the lion, who's the king of the jungle, and says, Your Highness, of course, the donkey is screaming before he even gets to the front of the lion. Your Highness, isn't it true that the grass is blue? Of course, the lion replied. If you believe it is true, then the grass is blue. The donkey rushed forward, shouted, and went on saying, The tiger disagrees with me, contradicts me, and annoys me, but please punish him. And then the king, the lion, says, I will punish the tiger for 3 days of silence. The donkey jumped up in joy and went on his way, content and repeating, The grass is blue, the grass is blue. So the tiger, bewildered, surprised, says, Your Majesty, why have you punished me? After all, the grass is green. The lion replied, You have known and seen that the grass is green. So the tiger says, Why do you punish me? That has nothing to do, the lion replies. That has nothing to do with the question of whether the grass is blue or green. The punishment is because it is degrading for a brave, intelligent creature like yourself to waste time arguing with an ass. And on top of that, you came and bothered me with that question that just validates something you already knew and you know is true. So the biggest waste of time is arguing with a fool and a fanatic. And this, I think, sums up what the proverb that you shared, which is that sometimes we need to know, the discerning spirit to know when to get into a debate or just allow it be. Because a number of times people actually just want you, I think it was Jared that gave the example, they want to muddy you up. They want to put mud all over you. They don't care. They're fanatics. They don't really care if it's green or blue. They just want to mess you up. So do you want to get into an argument with such a person? I think, that's the moral of the story. But more importantly, I think what I wanted to even say is that, and I think this is particularly for those that are in diaspora, there's some richness in Proverbs from the African continent that they are so deep, and they give us wisdom in how we deal with everyday life situation. I think what I found is that there's really nothing that happens today that's new. If we can dig deep into history, there's a lot of learnings on how to handle different, complex situations, especially in today's time that we find ourselves. Complex situations where you almost feel like you're boxed. I studied and worked out in the UK, and I'm back on the continent. I'm in Nigeria, but I'm very close to the diaspora. I feel like I'm a bridge between the diaspora. And, I'm so excited by what I hear you guys talking about the trip that Simon is planning with Jared. And definitely I look forward to be a part of this. I just feel that the continent offers such great deal of opportunities for African in diaspora. And when I say African in diaspora, I'm talking of African Americans, immigrants, and all the rest of it. I'm fortunate to work in an opportune office, and I can see this. I see people coming from across the world, coming all the way from Asia, and taking opportunities on the continent. And I think what we have failed to do is, for some reason, and I think one opportunity of this app is brought to bear conversations from across the world that you can have with different people at the same time, and you can understand the challenges that exist. And there's a way that we are so distracted as Africans or as Black people that we do not even get to see the opportunities where distracted with battles amongst ourselves. We're not able to organize ourselves. We're not able to take advantages. I come to Silicon Valley trying to attract venture partners, and all I'm dealing with, which there's no problem with that. I don't have problem collaborating with people from all the diversity, but I like to see more Africans, more Blacks being involved in taking over the opportunity that exists on the continent. And I think this trip, because in every way you have to bring people in easy ways, let them understand the opportunity that comes out of entertainment, out of pleasure, and then the business opportunities will come in as well. So I think this is such a great trip. I'm going to follow up. I definitely will be a part of it. I want to be a part of it. When I lived in school in Europe and worked in Europe, in England, I traveled across Europe so much that I asked myself, how come I've not traveled Africa? So I made it a challenge that I actually visit a number of African countries. And goodness gracious me, Africa is indeed very beautiful. I've been to Kenya, but I look forward to coming again. I've been to Senegal, Rwanda, Ethiopia, of course Morocco, Ghana, of course Nigeria, where I spend most of my time. I mean, the continent is just awesome. Ivory Coast, just awesome. So I'm hopeful. I don't want to take much time, but I'm hopeful this is the start of many, many of these kind of things that we can have. Like-minded people, same energy, and slowly we start forming and organizing ourselves. Because I think, I ask myself, why am I doing on this app? I'm hopeful for this kind of initiative that can grow. If not, it's just a waste of my time. But I'm hopeful, and I follow Jared. You're a very serious man. And when I saw you on this, I thought, let me listen to what's going on. And I'm happy that just a chance to say, let me see what's going on. It's something that is already going to birth an opportunity. There's so much that we can do, so much. And again, let me just London. I don't think we need a crowd to make things happen. If you look at the great men that struggle for the emancipation of the continent, for independence and all that, you'd be surprised. A lot of them were actually in diaspora. They were in diasporas in the 40s and the 30s. They were in diaspora, and they fought for independence of the continent. But we're busy sometimes pointing finger, and we're not looking at ourselves. What role do we play? I land my jet here, and great to meet you all. Simon, Jared, I will follow up with you. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you again. I deeply appreciate you, Lonre, for your contribution, and I can't wait to be in Kenya with you. I know that Pamela wants to speak next. I see that you're unmuting there, but I want to just quickly introduce Lavender, who is leading the trip and was in Seattle recently, is back in Kenya. Lavender, just be ready for people to bombard you with a lot of requests. So Lonre, please follow Lavender too. And anybody who wants to be a part of the trip, the link is at the top of the room. You can go straight to the website, but also engage Lavender directly. We'll give her a chance to speak in just a second after we finish hearing from everybody else on the stage. So Pamela, let's hear from you. Thank you so much.
Hi, good morning. I was trying to keep my thoughts about it. So for me, this reminds me, and I've always carried this with me since I was a teenager, but it was a scripture from Psalms 37, and it was like, "Fret not yourself against evildoers, for they shall soon be cut off." So for me, I feel like, and I agree with everyone, and most of the time when I feel like there's someone that's trying to like hurt me or do something to me, it's more on them, I think. Didn't I mean it is. It's more on something that they're dealing with. And so I just try to recognize that, and usually I would just be quiet. I wouldn't say anything, and then eventually it would work itself all out. I would either have a conversation with them or nothing at all. They would just be cut off. It I felt like God would remove them. So I didn't have to deal with it. So yeah, so that's my take on it. I don't think it's good to argue, just put it in God's hands and remain positive. And it's not always easy, but that's just my thought process. And then as far as the trip, I've always wanted to go to Africa. That's just so funny. But so I will be looking into that and praying about it. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you so much. This is Simon. Just quickly, I want to let you all know that I'm also live streaming this conversation on YouTube. So if you want to see me live and direct, I'm going to put the link just briefly at the top of the room so that you can tap in. And then I just want to create a quick conversation here as well between Lavender, Jared, and Stella, because we are truly, truly excited to host you all in Kisumu, in Nairobi, and in many, many parts of the country in Kenya. So Jared, just quickly refresh the conversation, remind everybody why it's important that they join us, but also Lavender is here now and Stella, who are live in Kenya as we speak, and engage them maybe in a quick conversation before we continue on with our interpretations of the proverb. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so just so I don't be too redundant, I'll be super short on this one. But ultimately, like what I'm excited about is really getting deep into the country of Kenya, exploring multiple locations, multiple cultures, multiple restaurants, music, religion, in a way that's not going to be scratching the surface, superficial, or like Google tourism. So I actually like to learn more from Lavender, like. And it comes to this 10-day experience, what can people expect, and what are you most excited to share with people that decide to, embark on this journey with us? And Lavender, if you're speaking,
hello. Hi, Jared. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Good to meet you.
Oh, I'm in a loud place, but you'll be experiencing this beat of Kenya because you'll be coming to Kisumu. And besides that, you'll have the opportunity to immerse yourself in culture, how our communities here live, and have a taste of the different kind of delicacies and food from different parts of the country. Remember, Kenya has more than 47 tribes. So that's you also have like not even like, but you'll have a food journey across different tribes in Kenya. You'll also have the opportunity to work with the youth in Kisumu at One Vibe Africa. We encourage those who'd like to mentor the youth when it comes to personal growth and development, when it comes to art, photography, filming, anything you can teach somebody else to become a better human being in this world. And finally, you'll have a chance to go to Masai Mara, where you'll see the Big Five. for 3 days. Jared, I don't know if I covered most of it. Simon, you can add anything I left out.
I feel that you covered most of it, and Stella is also going to add a little bit later on. For now, I just want to thank you, Lavender, for putting in the work. Lavender worked on the entire itinerary for the trip, so check out the website. The link is at the top of the room. You'll be able to really go into the details, and then I would really encourage you to reach out to Lavender directly. And then we will be able to support you and make sure you join us for this trip. We are really focusing on February, but in July we are planning another trip as well. I would encourage you to come with us for the February trip, because it's the most low-key and I think rejuvenating and healing kind of trip. The July trip is more of a family-oriented trip with a lot of children, so you can think about that. For now, I want us to continue on for a moment with our conversation around the Gambian proverb that says that if a donkey kicks you and you kick back, you are both donkeys. So we are doing popcorn style today, and I encourage you all to I think we are now we are going to quickly go to Latanja, and then we'll go to Anthony Shannon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon, for having me, and welcome everyone, and thank you for being here. I just say that if a donkey kicks you and you kick back, you are both donkeys. As Mrs. Michelle Obama says, when they go low, you go high. And so, or is it the other way around? And let's ask ourselves why. And so it's all about staying grounded and rooted in integrity. And yes, when they go low, you go high. And so this is the foundation for honor and humility. Because a jackass will attempt to belittle you because they're hurting on the inside. Be more about not stooping to a level less than you by putting your differences aside. And so I yield the mic.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let's go on to Anthony Shannon. How are you doing, my brother? Take it away.
What's going on, my brother Simon? Sounds good to hear your voice, my brother. Appreciate you pinging me in this room. It's always a pleasure, man, to get wisdom from the motherland. You understand? So, I appreciate you. And Jared's doing a fantastic job. All of you who support this room, it is a pleasure. I think it's very needful, number one, that all of us who is African American in these United States, they need to visit the motherland. So I think this 10-day trip to Kenya will not only awaken who we are, but it will definitely make us become more Black leaders and not leading Blacks. And so that's my 2 cents on that. And I'm going to see if we can get some people to go with us to that as well. So thank you for that. Now, this proverb, it says, if a donkey kicks you, you kick back, you are both donkeys. When I think about a donkey, a donkey has these strong hind legs that kicks for predator's sake, and even though they're smart, they can't see like the other animals. And so, a donkey also may not appreciate or understand, what's being done to it. And so if you kick back, then your reactions is just as stupid as that. Or in leadership, we would say that a leader who loses his head then causes other bad things to happen. And so you have to watch when your emotions take over versus your cognitive thought. And so the results when someone moves in emotions are unpredictable. And, some people have even went to jail just from a reaction. If they would have just held it, then guess what? They would have been all right. Or as the saying would say, never let them see you sweat. Hold your course under fire. And you will be the one who's on top and not let the other person control you. That's my 2 cents. Thank you, Brother Simon, for letting me be in the room. Peace.
Peace and love to you as well. I deeply appreciate you and the House of Creativity for all the incredible work you all do as well. I want to welcome everyone who is joining us for the first time. Take a second, share the link to the room if you're on Clubhouse, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's one of the ways that you can support the African Father in America podcast. Now, I just want to check in with you, Jared. Shall we continue in PTR order, or do you want to say something to just remind those who just joined us about the trip that we are planning in February? A big shout out to you, Joseph Kafunda, in the room.
Yeah, no, just to honor, Stephen, Kikuyu, and Jay, I say we continue in PTR order, but definitely make sure you check out the link. I've got an amazing 10-day trip planned to Kenya in February, and the link has so much great detail and it's laid out so organized, which gives me like even more confidence that this trip is going to be epic because it's all laid out. We don't have to think about like where are we going to next. And the fact that Lavender just laid out, how many different tribes there are, and the fact that I probably didn't experience, more than maybe one or two, without even really knowing the history and the difference between each. Like, I'm super excited to really just dive deep into the history of the tribes, the culture, the different food, and just how different each tribe is. So it's going to be an epic experience. It's going to be a great way to kick off 2023. So check out the link in the chat, copy, paste it into a browser, and hit up Lavender if you have any questions about any details. But with that being said, I want to go ahead and pass the mic down to Stephen, and so that everybody can share their thoughts on this topic. If a donkey kicks you and you kick back, you are both donkeys. And if you don't mind sharing the room, if you haven't done so already, we'd really appreciate it. So, Stephen, I'm going to throw you the mic.
Hey all, while Stephen is unmuting, I just want to say that he is also part of our team in Kenya. He's going to be leading the team that documents the whole trip. He leads our filmmaking team there, and he's also leading our education, music and art program, along with Lavender and Stella. So Stephen knows this trip and has hosted a lot of our guests in the past when we've taken people to Kenya. So Stephen, take it away, please. He has
All
to
right,
be.
Stephen might be away from the mic, so we'll go to the ladies. Kikuyu, we'll pass it to you. And if you're speaking, there you go.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. This is really beautiful to see the trip, the group trip that's being discussed, and looking forward to finding out more information on it. But in regard to the proverb, if a donkey kicks you and you kick back, you're both donkeys. What I am reminded of is just how important it is to be aware of what your grounded state is and to protect and preserve that, like no matter what. I think a lot of times it can be really easy because we tend to like being in environments that stimulate us in a certain type of way. Well, does this actually resonate with our most grounded state? Like what agitates our nervous system? What distracts us from what distracts us from the spaces or the energy that we need to be in to care for ourselves and to love on ourselves? And that's pretty much what this reminds me of, like staying grounded. There's a lot there's a lot of love and self-preservation that can be maintained just from being mindful of the type of spaces that you're engaging in. That's all I got, but thank you.
Thank you so much, Kikuyu, and thank you for all the support you've given this space over the over the years. Hey Jay, the mic is yours. Share with us your perspectives.
Thank you, Brother Simon. I have to chuckle. First of all, Jared, I am just drooling with envy. I really am, and not in a negative way, about this trip. And I would absolutely love to go. And I wish I had the flexibility to take those 10 days in February. But I'm not sure I'm going to have that flexibility. I don't, my job requires that I be there quite a bit and only so many weeks per year for vacation. But I'm thinking hard about it just from the description to see if somehow I can make it work. I'm so excited. I'm really excited from what Lavender and Jared and Simon and what you're saying about this trip. It's like, oh my gosh, it would be wonderful. So anyway, that's proverb made me chuckle. It really did. And I, I don't like to get into quote unquote scuffles unnecessarily. And I can't even think of a time when I've gotten into a physical altercation. I cannot think of it. Is that it takes a lot to get me that upset where I feel like that's a necessary way of addressing a situation. But I know it varies from situation, person to person, where they may have no option. But um, when you do have an option, it's amazing to me to see people fighting over nothing that it's a bad look. I always think it's a bad look when a donkey kicks you and you kick back. It's a bad look when you don't choose to handle it in a more responsible and respectful way, that there are options and alternatives. And if you don't exercise that, you both look really bad. And then I just wanted to say this very quickly to Latanja. About Michelle Obama, and then I'm going to land this plane very quickly. It was funny to me when you said that because Candy Burris, some of you in this room might recognize that name, multi millionaire, very talented. And she referenced Michelle Obama. And she said, Michelle Obama said, when you go low, I'm going to go high, however that goes. But this is what Candy Bird said. She says, if you go low, I'm going to go low with you. And I was disappointed that she said that. And I just wanted to toss that into the mix. And I totally agree that you do need to choose a better way to address and to handle conflicts and differences of opinion. If someone, kicks you or um, decides to do something to you that you know isn't right, handle it in a better way. Choose to go high. I agree with you. Thank you so much for letting me speak. And I'm thinking about that trip. I really want to go. Okay, take care, everyone.
Oh, Jay, I would love to go with you if you can make it. One of the things that we are planning is every trip has a theme, and not this one, not the next one, but one of the ones we are doing in the next year or so is going to be around, African and African American writers from the diaspora traveling together and going and meeting African writers and authors and doing this 10-day trip but around writing. And I feel that would be another ideal one for you. But for now, I just want to thank you and thank everybody else who is here. We are just about to begin wrapping up our conversation. I want to check in with Stephen quickly. Stephen, are you available to give us some of your thoughts?
Yes, Simon, I'm very much available, and thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone who have joined us for this session. I'm Stephen, speaking from Kisumu, Kenya, and may I take this opportunity to challenge those who have not been to Kenya to please purpose to visit for the coming trip. You will love this place. It's amazing. For today's proverb, I would like to simulate it to arguing with a madman. If you're arguing with a madman or somebody crazy in the market, then you two are the same. So I would like to concur with Stella's sentiments that you don't need to fight every battle. You need to choose what battle you fight. And you need also to choose who are you fighting with, because there are some fights that are not worth fighting for. Thank you, Simon. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in February in Kenya. Karibuni. Thank you.
Asante sana. Thank you so much. Quick shout out to Stefan and Nate and Rocky and Emeka, my brother Joseph Kafunde and V. Thank you for listening in. I want to bring it back to the moderators of our conversation. I want to start with you quickly, Stella, and then Jared. Stella, I wanted you to speak briefly about the One Vibe experience. You know, what you're hoping the guests that are coming to Kenya are going to experience. And then I'll bring it back to you, Jared, to just wrap it up. How did we do today? And then Lavender, if you have any comments before we finish our conversation today.
Thank you, Simon. This is Stella from Kenya once more. And just excited as everyone is about this trip. And I would love to encourage you that this trip that is going to be organized by One Vibe Experience, led by Lavender, for 10 days is going to be an incredible adventure because you're going to experience Kenyan culture firsthand and our beautiful country. You're going to have opportunities to explore, uh, get to visit our golden beaches, our game reserves, and enjoy our food. So I would like to encourage you to make sure you hop onto this trip and enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Jared?
Yeah, no, I just really enjoyed this conversation. I'm excited to kick off, every day with these proverbs, because yeah, there's going to be adversity. There's going to be people that challenge you. There's going to be people that project their fears and negativity on you, and this is just a great reminder of you don't have to engage with it. You have to also be wary of what are the consequences. Obviously, I don't want to become a donkey, so if the donkey kicks me, I'm going to keep it moving and stay in my purpose and stay on my focus. So I love this conversation. And yeah, just one last time, definitely check out this link. Share this link with your friends and family. I think it's super important for everyone in the Africa diaspora to experience Africa in any way you can, but in the way that this trip is going to be curated, it's going to give you a really deep, well-rounded experience, and an opportunity to build community with like-minded people like myself and Simon and Stella and Lavender and stuff, Steven. So yeah, please share this replay once it populates in our bios. Make sure to follow Simon and Stella and Lavender to learn more about this trip, and also follow Brother Lanra, Pamela, Latanya, Steve, and Kikuyu and Jay, who all dropped some really amazing points today. And check out the rooms that they're in. And also make sure to follow the club, the Greenhouse, and check out Simon's podcast, 200,000 plus downloads. It shows you that there's a lot of quality. Rewatch some of the old proverbs, some of the old shows, and tap in with Simon on Instagram. And yeah, so really great room. Looking forward to the one tomorrow. Same time, same place. The fowl digs out the blade that kills it. So I'm excited to dig into that one and hear more about the history of that proverb and what everybody's interpretation is. So hope to see you tomorrow, same time. So I'll pass it to you, Simon.
Thank you so much, Jared. Let's hear just quickly from Lavender before we wrap up our conversation today. Lavender, hey, are you able to just say your closing remarks before we let you go? I know you're on the road.
Hi, Simon. Thanks again for the opportunity to share. And Jared, thank you. Thank you so much. I'd like to mention each and every supporters and brothers and sisters of ours who've been standing by us throughout our daily sessions. I appreciate you deeply. This proverb also reminds me about there's a saying about not letting, when you let water into your boat, that's when your boat can sink. I don't know how this saying goes, but it reminds me of that saying when you're reacting to everything, you'll bring yourself down to the level of everything you're reacting to. So, like one of us shared here, we pick our battles wisely. And then again about the Kenyan trip. What I'd like to point out about the trip is its uniqueness. Most trips uh, we have a specific reason. You'd find that you just want to go have fun, and some trips it's a trip of discovery. Some trips are self-development specific trips, but this trip has everything in one. You have the opportunity to learn. We can find beaches everywhere. We have uh, blue waters and white sands in Kenya. We have animals in other African countries. But what's unique about this trip is that you get to interact with people who think differently than you. Like we have different creatives from all walks of life. We have the opportunity to learn. We have the opportunity to improve ourselves in one way or the other. As much as we'll be learning alongside creatives here and entrepreneurs here, we'll also be developing our businesses back home. You can look into investment opportunity during your trip here. At the same time, you're doing a safari. At the same time, you're discovering a whole different world from yours. And I don't want to ask you to trust me, but I want to make sure you have fun and make use of that 10-day, that when you go back home, you're fulfilled with that trip, and you can come again and again, and you can recommend it to your friends and family. So make sure you research as much as you'd like. Ask me as much questions as you want, and come prepared to discover. Thank you again, Simon.
Excellent. Thank you, Lavender. Stay safe, and I deeply appreciate you. See you all tomorrow, same time, same place, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I truly thank you. In about an hour, this conversation is going to be available on Apple Podcast and all podcasting platforms. And we are already live on YouTube, so if you haven't subscribed, this is a good time for you to do that. But the video is already on YouTube. I just deeply appreciate you all for taking your time and joining us. Jarrett, thank you for your love and support. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Thanks a lot.
African father in America. Tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, jikaze, America. Tujikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.